We all want sunshine and calm waters, but life doesn't work that way. Sometimes the waves hit so hard, you can barely breathe. And yet, what if the storms you're facing aren't meant to destroy you, but to save you? Life's storms rarely send invitations. You don't get a calendar alert for heartbreak. You don't get a warning text before your finances collapse. They arrive suddenly, violently, and often when you're least prepared. The disciples knew this well. Many of them were fishermen who had grown up on the Sea of Galilee. They could read the weather and knew the signs. But that day, in Mark 4, verses 35 to 41, there was no sign. Jesus said, "Let's go to the other side." They obeyed, they launched, and in the middle of their obedience, the storm hit. This is the first lesson. Obedience doesn't exempt you from storms. In fact, some storms come precisely because you're in the will of God. The wind roared, waves crashed, and the boat began to fill with water. Panic set in, and Jesus slept. If we're honest, we've all been there, praying, crying out, and it feels like God is silent, asleep on the job. But Jesus' ability to rest in the storm wasn't a sign of indifference. It was a sign of authority. He wasn't worried about the waves because he had power over them. Psychology tells us that our reaction to chaos reveals our trust level in the one we believe is in control. Fear magnifies the problem. Faith magnifies the one who can solve it. A woman I knew once lost her job unexpectedly. She thought it was the worst thing that could happen. But being forced out of that role led her to start a small business she'd been dreaming about for years. Today, she's thriving. Not just financially, but in joy and freedom. Her storm was actually her rescue. A young man I spoke to went through a painful breakup. At first, he was angry at God, but that season forced him to confront parts of himself he had been avoiding. Insecurity, dependency, a lack of identity. When he came through, he had healed and grown into someone far more grounded. That storm didn't destroy him, it transformed him. James 1 verses 2 through 4 tell us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. Not if, but when." Why? Because the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Storms do three things for a believer. They reveal your foundation, they deepen your dependence, and they prepare you for the next assignment. In Mark 4, Jesus said, "Let's go to the other side." He never said it would be easy, but he did promise a destination. After the storm, they landed and immediately faced a man possessed by a legion of demons, a man whose life would be transformed forever. The storm wasn't random. It was the obstacle between them and their purpose. Some of your storms are the devil's resistance to keep you from the other side. Others are God's training ground to prepare you for it. From a psychological perspective, humans grow most in discomfort. Our brains are wired for adaptation. Without challenge, there's no resilience. Without struggle, there's no strength. Spiritually, storms strip away false securities. They show us what can be shaken, so that what cannot be shaken remains. Just as Hebrews 12:27 says, "So when you find yourself in the middle of the chaos, remember who's in the boat with you." The waves may be higher than your head, but they're still under his feet. Speak his promises into your panic. Focus on the other side. And most importantly, don't waste the storm. Ask God what he's trying to build in you right now. Think about the storms you've been through in the past, the ones that felt unbearable. Looking back, what did they teach you? For me, some of my worst seasons were actually my turning points. I didn't see it then, but those storms saved me from paths I never should have been on. If you're in a storm right now, hear this: it will not last forever. The same voice that said, "Let there be light," can say to your chaos, "Peace, be still." You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and realize the very thing you thought would break you was the thing that saved you. Hold on, the one who commands the wind and the waves is still in your boat. Share this video with someone who might need it today.